In the January 1993 magazine of Classic Toy Trains, Jim Bunn had written an article entitled Thomas the Lucrative Engine. He wrote, "When it comes to electric train manufacturers, Thomas has already left the station. The message here is simple. Somebody do something. Kids are starving for an electric Thomas. If one of our manufacturers doesn't do it, someone from the greater toy industry will." At the time, the only ready-to-run Thomas models were from Hornby, but the company wasn't importing any of their products into North America. In the scrapbox page of the March '93 magazine, George Hoffman agreed with Jim, as when his granddaughter Caitlin became interested in Thomas, he had to search for an O-gauge steam locomotive that could be adapted into the character. He ran across a Lionel 040 dock switcher from a local hobby store, and when tested, the potential Thomas holds several freight cars without strain. George's son-in-law Bernie painted the main body and wheels light blue, the stack and smokebox black, and added some red trim. For Thomas's face, George enlisted the artistic talents of Bernie's wife and his own daughter, Kristen. The result, George felt, was a fairly good representation of Thomas the Tank Engine. Shortly after George's article was published, Lionel released a G-scale Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle set, and later James with Troublesome Trucks. This was followed by their O-gauge Thomas and Percy in the late 1990s, but these were in high demand and could be hard to find. If you were on a tight budget, you can inexpensively create your own O-gauge Thomas, as demonstrated by John Halaco in another Classic Toy Trains article from December 2004. He found an old Lionel chassis from a post-war locomotive and removed the valve linkage, leaving the main rods. He then purchased a shilling Thomas the Tank Engine whistle, and cut off the whistle tubes and static wheels with a Dremel. Once the Thomas shell was test-fitted to the Lionel chassis, a wire coat hanger was cut and bent to create a coupling. The final assembly was a ready-to-run O-gauge Thomas that had cost John less than $10. In 2002, Putt Trains, an S-gauge manufacturer in Ohio, introduced a Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle set. This took Tomy body shells and installed them with electric motors. The set could only be operated in forward direction on AC or DC power, but could easily be fitted with a DCC decoder. Putt Trains later offered a Percy with freight car set until at least 2007, when their website went offline. By this time, Bachmann Trains had established itself as the North America manufacturer for electric Thomas models, first with HO, then G, and in recent years N-scale. Whilst the company may have these gauges covered, other model railroaders are still finding ways to improvise the little blue tank engine.